Welcome. We've all been there. That moment when a word, an action, or even just a look from someone else stings. It's a universal human thing, getting offended. But how we handle it, that can change literally everything. So let's dive into a really powerful framework for responding with wisdom and grace when you've been wronged, all from a timeless, faith-based perspective.
Just think about it for a second. You get that text that feels like a punch to the gut. You overhear a comment that makes your face flush. Or someone gives you that look that just cuts you right down. In that split second, what is your first instinct? What's your first move? Do you fire back a text? Do you shut down completely? That initial move is exactly what we're going to break down today. Yeah, it's all about that initial sting. It's this powerful, personal feeling that just screams for you to do something. But the choice you make right here, in this exact moment, is absolutely critical.
And it really is like standing at a crossroads. One path is all tangled with thorns, heading straight into a storm cloud of more conflict and more hurt. But the other path, well, it might be a little harder to see at first, but it leads towards sunlight and peace. That very first step you take determines the entire journey.
Okay, so let's get right to the heart of it. The one core concept that really unlocks this whole process is understanding the massive difference between reacting and responding. They might sound kind of similar, but believe me, in practice, they are worlds apart. This lays out the two paths perfectly. On one side, you've got reacting. That's that fiery, instinctual lashing out. From a biblical perspective, we'd call this being driven by the flesh, just letting our raw, unfiltered emotions take over. And as the book of Ephesians warns us, that can easily lead to sin. But on the other side, you've got responding. It's totally different. It's intentional, it's calm, it's spirit-led. And it all starts with that crucial pause, that one moment to just stop, breathe, maybe say a quick prayer, and actually seek guidance instead of letting anger grab the steering wheel.
And that leads us to this incredibly practical piece of advice. Think of it as a little mantra: pray and don't say. Seriously, before you vent to your best friend, before you start typing out that angry reply, before you do anything at all, talk to God. This one simple act can be the circuit breaker that stops a whole conflict from spiraling out of control.
So before we even get to what we should do, we have to adjust how we think. A huge part of this battle is internal. So this section is all about 4 foundational ways you can reframe the offense in your own mind.
Okay, here they are. First, trust God to be your defender. You got to let go of the need to fight every single battle yourself. Second, guard your heart. Try not to be so easily offended. Not every little slight needs to become a full-blown war. Third, and this is a big one, ask yourself, can I just overlook this? And finally, and this one is a huge mindset shift, remember who the real enemy is.
This is a radical shift in how we see things. The person who hurt you, they aren't your ultimate enemy. According to this framework, the true enemy is a spiritual force that just uses these offenses to create division, to steal our joy, and to destroy relationships. Separating the person from the problem is an absolute game changer.
And, Scripture makes this crystal clear. Ephesians 6:12 reminds us that our real fight isn't against other people, it's against these spiritual forces. When you start to see the offense through that lens, it kind of depersonalizes the attack and helps you fight the right battle.
This is such an important question to ask yourself. Proverbs 19:11 says it's to your glory to overlook an offense. Can you assume the best in them? Is there even a small possibility they didn't mean to hurt you? Choosing to overlook something isn't a sign of weakness. It's actually a profound display of strength and love.
Okay, but what if the offense is just too serious to overlook? What if it absolutely needs to be addressed? Well, that's when we move from our internal mindset to a very clear, practical, and scriptural process for what to do next.
The book of Matthew actually gives us a direct roadmap for this, and I want you to notice what is not the first step. Gossiping about it or complaining to all your friends. This whole process is designed for reconciliation. That's why the first step is always to go directly and privately to the person who hurt you. The goal here is restoration, not retribution. And only if that doesn't work do you calmly escalate with some support.
Now here's a serious warning. Regardless of how that person responds to you, there's a danger we have to talk about: the poison of unforgiveness. When you hold on to an offense, you're not just hurting them, you're actually allowing this really destructive seed to get planted in your own heart.
The Bible has a name for this. It calls it a root of bitterness. And just look at that definition. It doesn't just stay inside you. A bitter root grows, it causes trouble, and eventually it defiles many. That means it poisons you and your relationships from the inside out. It spreads.
So that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
How do you do it? Forgiveness isn't just a feeling that magically shows up one day. It's a decision. It's an act of your will that you often have to repeat over and over. So what do those actions actually look like in practice?
Here are 3 really concrete actions. First, you have to stop hitting the repeat button on the offense in your mind. Every time you replay that wound, you're just re-injuring yourself. Second, you release them from the dead. You decide that they don't owe you an apology or anything else for you to be free. And third, you intentionally choose to give grace, the exact same unearned favor that you yourself have received.
So as we wrap this up, here's the big idea. An offense doesn't have to be a dead end. It can actually become an opportunity for real spiritual growth, for stronger relationships, and for you to show what grace looks like in real life.
Because look, living in this world means you will be offended. That part is pretty much guaranteed. The offense itself is just a fact of life, but how you handle it, that is 100% your choice, and that choice determines everything that comes next. And that really leaves us with this one final question to think about. The next time it happens, and it will, are you going to give in to that knee-jerk, fiery reaction, or are you going to pause, pray, and choose to respond? The choice is yours.